Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, we tell you that the World Cup is all set to begin. We've got the warm-up fixtures that begin from Friday onwards. Pakistan team is on its way via Dubai to Hyderabad, India. Now the team arrived in Dubai where they had a 9-hour stay, and then they were supposed to travel to Hyderabad, and when they reach they will start necessary practice. Friday they take on New Zealand in the first warm-up match, then after a couple of days they take on Australia, and then they start their campaign from the 6th when they play the Netherlands, and their second match on the 10th against Sri Lanka, and then the third one on the 14th against India. So all in all, the green shirts are ready, and Babar Azam before leaving in a press conference also said that the morale is really high. The team is confident, they're bonding like a family, they win as a team, they lose as a team, and they have learned from their mistakes in the Asia Cup. So we'll talk all about that in detail. Then of course we move on to some more news from the world of cricket, where World Cup squads are the talk of the town. Bangladesh is the latest team and probably the last one to announce their squad. It'll be captained by Shakib Al Hasan, and Tamim Iqbal has been dropped from the side. Now this is a controversial subject because remember, he took retirement before the Asia Cup. Then the Bangladeshi Prime Minister invited Tamim Iqbal and convinced him to take retirement back, and on the request of the Prime Minister he took retirement back, but then he was axed from the Asia Cup squad due to a back injury, then came back in a bilateral series, and then again for the World Cup he's not available. So this uncertainty, I think, over the team, and I truly think that it's an issue that has to do with Shakib and Tamim probably. So we'll talk about that in detail as well. Then of course we move on to an update of the Asian Games. We'll give you that as well, where Pakistan have beaten their opponents in hockey. They beat Bangladesh in their second match 5-2. This is their second consecutive victory. In the first match they beat Singapore 11-0. Pakistan is placed in Group A along with Japan, India, Singapore, Bangladesh, and also they've got a match against Uzbekistan. Now tomorrow they're playing Uzbekistan, and after that they're going to be playing India and then Japan. So out of these three matches, if they take victory in two of them, they're going to have a short shot of qualification. Both Pakistan, India and also Japan are tied with 6 points each, but on goal difference Pakistan is at third position on the table. So we'll talk about that in detail. Then of course in volleyball, some great news. Pakistan, for the very first time in history, have now secured 5th position in the volleyball championship in the Asian Games. They beat India 3-0 consecutive sets. It was a remarkable performance from our volleyball team. So we'll discuss that in detail as well. After that we move on to some more news from the world of sports, and I tell you that the SAF Under-19 Championship has got Pakistan written all over it. Pakistan have beaten Bhutan on penalties, and they've qualified for the final. The match was goalless in full time, but on penalties Pakistan managed to score 6 and Bhutan were restricted to 5. So Pakistan, on the basis of that one goal, have now qualified for the final. This is the SAF Under-19 Football Championship that we'll discuss as well. Time now to introduce the guests. First of all, in studios we've been joined by cricket expert and analyst Rizwan Haider. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed, thank you.
And we've also been joined by cricket commentator and expert Mahmood Al Hassan. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, man?
Wa alaikum assalam, I'm fine.
Great to have you. We've also been joined by senior sports journalist Syed Haider. Assalamu alaikum, sir, how are you?
I'm fine.
Sir, great to have you on the show. Now, Sir Haider, finally the dust settles. On one side, visa issue resolved. Second, the team is traveling. They reach Dubai, and then they're supposed to travel to Hyderabad. And they've got a very important fixture. I like the fact that our two warm-up games are against New Zealand and Australia.
Exactly. It's thanks to God that it has been released, but still Pakistan is now in phase to get some practice for the World Cup. We were all doubt that Pakistan could not play warm-up, but thanks to God it has been resolved. Now, how the Pakistan will get in on Indian pitches. It's very important because all the Pakistan on south of India and all the pitches in South India, they are slow and tracks. So it's very nice for the batsmen for the to adjust to pitches and also the bowlers, because fast bowlers they like fast tracks, but I think they will not play fast track in the south of India. So the pitches will be not friendly, course friendly. So to get it by the it is very important. Some it's also important for the Pakistan to get some momentum, some acceleration in the batting, and the bowlers to have to get some rhythm. It is very necessary. So we have to wait, and I hope that Pakistan will get a good and a very good job in the India.
Definitely. Rizwan, this whole scenario of the delays and everything, that has now been put to rest. The fact is that the team is on their way to Hyderabad, where they will be playing most of their matches. Like I said, that I think it's a positive development that you're playing New Zealand or Australia in these warm-up fixtures, so some necessary practice for you.
I think it's important to see how New Zealand plays us and how Australia plays us, because if they play their strongest 11, then we'll have good practice. But they've been playing Bangladesh, New Zealand has been playing Bangladesh, Australia has been playing India, so they might be resting a few players. But we know our final 11 in any case. We know who's going to be in, who's going to be out. I just hope that they give a chance to Osama Mir in the practice warm-up, because we know how Shadab is going to bowl. I hope they give chances to the other players who are on the bench, so we see if they're going to be available, if they're going to be useful in case of an injury or something like that, for any unforeseen circumstances. You need to give your best players a chance. You need to give everybody a chance, and that's the way. I mean, if you see, Australia hasn't played Mitch Marsh, hasn't been playing Cummins, hasn't been playing other players. Similarly, South Africa has been resting players, England has been resting players, and they've given an opportunity to about 22, 23 players in the recent last 2 months or 3 months, building up to the World Cup. But we've continued playing the same 11 or 12 players or 13 players and not more than that. And the only time we've changed players has been, forced injuries. So that's not the right way of going into the World Cup. But I hope that they take the chances in the 2 games against New Zealand and Australia.
Absolutely. Mahmood, how important is it to get your combinations right? Because we haven't played that much of quality cricket, because teams around the world, like Rizwan said, Australia is currently playing India. Their third one day is underway. Then they've got 3 T20s. Bangladesh is playing New Zealand. England were playing Ireland. So everybody had necessary practice right before the World Cup. For us, how important is it to go into the Indian conditions and first play New Zealand and then Australia before the start of the World Cup?
As you have clearly mentioned, the lack of playing of quality of cricket. So in this aspect, I must say these 2 warm-up games, first with New Zealand, then with Australia, it matters a lot, because you have to give the chance to especially Osama Mir, then to their batsmen, so that they can analyze the pitches and the bowlers can analyze the way they have to bowl. So in this way, I must say that Pakistani teams, they are playing with their same batsmen, same players. So it's must not showing the good sign, because they are playing every time this same 11. They are going with this same 11 in either in T20, either in 50 ODI matches. So in this way, I must say this game, first with New Zealand, then with Australia, it matters a lot. It helps them to study the pitches, to analyze how to play and how to tackle with the situations while playing in the Indian stadiums.
Absolutely. I think the conditions are something that we particularly need to worry about, because Rizwan, let's be honest, spin is not our forte. Even initially today against Australia, India's fast bowling was struggling a bit, and then their spinners came to the party, although they were leaking some runs, because that's the way Australia plays, let's be honest. But they were amongst the wicket-taking tally for India.
Well, if you don't have the proper spinners for those conditions, then I'm sorry, because India is going to prepare wickets either which will be flat batting wickets, flat track bullies are going to have a huge day, or they're going to make wickets which are going to break for the spinners. And for Pakistan, they're not going to make wickets which are going to be helpful to Shaheen Afridi or Haris Rauf or our fast bowlers, because that's not Pakistan's. That is Pakistan's strength, and India is not going to do that. Even if you keep telling me that ICC has control of the pitches. But then again, home conditions, Australia, the pitch makers are still the same people, and they're going to make it awfully difficult for Pakistan, and rightly so. So Pakistan has to be prepared. Another fault, other than spin bowlers, I think when we win the toss, we usually have no idea how much of a total we are looking to put on the table. You need to make sure that you judge the pitch in about the first 5 overs and then analyze what sort of a total you're going to go for. Every time we go in, we take so much time setting up, understanding the pitch, that the total is usually about 20-30 runs behind the ballpark. Similarly, batting second, we still, we have a target in mind. We've seen how the pitch responded to the other team, so that's fine. We can chase pretty well. If it's a decent total, we're going to go all the way. But batting first is another problem that I've seen in T20s and one-day internationals recently.
I think these things should have been resolved not just right close to the World Cup, but probably 6 or 7 months back. That would have given you enough time to invest in some new tactics, as you're seeing around the world. I mean, just recently on the similar kind of wickets, India got 400 against Australia. Australia today were cruising in 35 overs. They were about 245. Last time I checked in, I would check the current score again, the fresh update. But the fact is that the level of cricket we can expect on those wickets, I think we can go to 350s, 400s, because even in Hyderabad at the Rajiv Gandhi Stadium, the average score, Rizwan, is between 250 to 350 runs.
Exactly, and we haven't been doing that. Even batting first, other than Nepal, I haven't seen any 330s or 40s posted. We saw 400 getting posted in South Africa twice, once by Australia, once by South Africa. We're seeing high scores being put in by England. We haven't seen Pakistan do anything of that sort, and that is going to be crucial because in the World Cup, whoever bats first, especially England, Australia, and India, they're going to go full throttle. India got 355 against us in the Asia Cup. So we have to be ready for that sort of a total. We haven't got the resources to chase. And similarly, if we get the opportunity to bat first, then we should aim for something like that. We need to aim for 340s and 350s. We can't be satisfied with 275, 285 because that's not going to be enough if India get to chase.
Absolutely. Sir Haider, this is a conundrum now. Because like I said, that what you can expect from at least the wickets in Hyderabad is something more than 250 should be there. I don't think it's going to be a World Cup where you expect to defend the 220s and 230s. And like Rizwan said, that your team needs to be at least mentally ready to go beyond 300 runs as well.
Exactly, because I think today you can see that India and Australia match in Rajkot, how the pitch is behaving. I think in Hyderabad, the history that the average score is between 250 and 300, but in World Cup we will get really the flat tracks, and there 300 plus will be also chaseable target for the second batting line. So Pakistan have to be very careful about the batting. If they are batting first, then have to match a real good target for the for the opponent, because batting will be more easier in the second session, I think, in Hyderabad, because at this moment the weather is average in Hyderabad, and there is no part of the dew. So bowling in the second session will be difficult. And Pakistan bowlers, if you see that Pakistan have 3-4 fast bowlers, so Pakistan will go with the 3 fast bowlers. It means that Pakistan have to max really a good bowling plan against the opponents. Batting will be easier there in Hyderabad and Bangalore, in Chennai. In Chennai, you can remember that great Saeed Anwar, he has got 194 runs. So I think the sand tracks will be available there. And in Hyderabad, Pakistan have to play 2 matches. The first match against Netherlands, it is not a big match, but against Sri Lanka, they should be very careful about against Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka, they have good spin attack, and they can attempt the Pakistani batters silently, and maybe a difference can come. So therefore, Pakistan batting in India will be an examination of the Pakistan batting, how they behave and how they can react in situation where they have to make some good target for the opponent.
Mahmood, what's the key now to score 300 plus runs in international cricket today for Pakistan? Because the way I see it, if you want somebody to bat through, then it's either Babar Azam, Imamul Haq, to some extent Mohammad Rizwan. Otherwise, we don't see a batter who can probably bat through, because in order to get 300, 350 runs, you need majority of your players to either score 50s or 100s.
Well, you have seen our opening partnership mostly likely to started by the Imamul Haq and the skipper Babar Azam. So they have to show a quick start, because on Indian pitches, mostly the 300 scores chased is easily. If our team is scoring to 90, 300, 310, then they can't rely on the bowlers that they can save their scores, because batting pitches are easy on Indian stadiums and the batsmen can show their best. So our batters, Mohammad Rizwan, Babar Azam, Imamul Haq, they are the starters. They have to show their best, and they have to show the quick start even from the power play. They have to save the wickets and to give runs. So in this way, I must say that scoring above 300, 350 is a chance for
Mahmood,
Pakistan.
how important does Babar Azam become in this equation? Because like I highlighted the other day as well, we were talking about the fact that Babar is brilliant against the pace bowling, but against spin particularly, he has struggled in the recent past.
You have seen the struggling of Babar Azam against spinners. He's playing good against pacer. You are right, but I must remember the way Babar Azam is playing spinners is not good, and he faced difficulties to play a good shot or to face spinners. As we have remembered how he has played in the World Cup 2019, his most dismissals are by the spinners, and he feels uncomfortably. He is not in his comfort zone while playing his spinners. So in this way, this is the negative point. This weak point of Babar Azam while tackling to the spinners, playing a good shot to the spinners.
Absolutely. Rizwan, where the difference lies. I see some of these stats where Australia have given a target of 353 runs to India. So, this is the second consecutive time that they've crossed the 300 threshold. Where's the difference now? Top four from Australia. David Warner scored 56 on 34 deliveries with a strike rate of 164. Mitchell Marsh 96 on 84. He could have gotten that 100, but he was still trying to play aggressive for the team. Didn't go for a personal milestone. His strike rate was 114.29. Steve Smith 74 on 61, strike rate 121.31. Marnus Labuschagne 72 of 58 deliveries, and Marnus is a guy who likes to build an innings. Even his strike rate was 124.14. Initially, top four playing with a strike rate of more than 110 in one-day international cricket.
I think you've proven my point. I always say it's a team game. Everybody has to pick up their socks. Everybody has to perform. You can't win a tournament on Babar Azam. You can't win a tournament on Iftikhar alone or Shaheen Afridi alone. It has to be a team game. Everybody wants to contribute. Even the anchor role is now, has to be at a strike rate of plus 90 minimum. You can't have a strike rate of 75 and say I'm going to play 150 balls, because that means you're not going to get the runs. If you need to put runs on the board, then everybody needs to contribute. Abdullah Shafiq is going to be very important, or Fakhr, whoever is playing along with Imam. But I think they should be flexible enough to see if whoever is not in form, just take him out. The anchor role has to go to Saud Shakil at number 5 if required. Otherwise, if the batting order needs to be flexible. If the run rate is going pretty well, then you put Iftikhar in early. You put the all-rounders in
You
early.
improvise, basically.
You improvise. We haven't seen the improvisation from Pakistan. We've seen it from South Africa. We've seen it from India. I was not rating South Africa before the tournament, but the way they played against Australia, they really turned a corner. And Pakistan needs to do that as well. Pakistan needs to, get it out of your mind that Rizwan needs to get 100, Babar has an average of 54. Or number one rating. These things do not matter
The
if your
fear of
team,
losing. How long are we going to hang on to that fear of losing?
and we've seen that in the T20 World Cup, in the 2021 version, 2022 version. That's the biggest problem with Babar's captaincy. He's a wonderful player. He's a great batsman, but it's too early to start saying. He's been the captain for almost 3 years now. He's been captain since 2021, and we haven't seen any improvement. We haven't seen him thinking the other team out, thinking of field placings which stop the runs. We haven't seen him do anything different that we used to see from Javed Miandad, we used to see from Dhoni, we used to see from Ganguly, we used to see from Alan Border. Babar needs to raise his game, not just the batting, but overall the team's morale. It's very easy to say that we win as a team, we lose as a team, but the team has to perform. It can't be just one batsman or two batsmen doing it and all the responsibility is shifted on them. And even I think another problem that I see in the bowling is Shaheen Afridi hasn't been doing well when it's late in the innings and he comes for a second or third spell.
Even initially, Rizwan, I've been stressing the fact that if you look at his line and length, he's getting the ball to jack back in frequently. It's a big in swing that he's bowling. But still that line is middle and leg stump, and that's why majority runs are coming back at fine leg.
Well, I myself bowl left. So first of all, left arm bowler, his natural swing is away from the bat. So he has to use that ball as the stock ball, not the ball coming in. The ball coming in has to be a surprise ball, either one every 2 overs or one every 5th ball or whatever. But you need to keep changing. But the stock ball has to go away from the batsman. He's bowling too many in swingers, and that's the reason Rohit Sharma was so successful against him in the last game.
Yeah, we saw that 6 down square leg. So I think that says it all. But Sir Haider, this is a very genuine debate that we have right now, because like I said, top 4 from Australia playing at a strike rate of more than 110 in India, and just a match before we saw 2 centuries in the team from India, 2 half centuries, one of the reasons why they got 400. So right now teams preparing for the World Cup are exploring the opportunity of playing at a higher run rate even if they're losing wickets.
Yeah, exactly. The run rate will be a very, very vital the World Cup, I think, on the Indian. You're not playing in Australia or England. The bowling can do something. In India, I think batting will be the most match winning. Pakistan, they have to perform like that Australia or India they are doing, like today Australia have done. Pakistan should go also in same fashion. Otherwise, Pakistan cannot get. problem of Pakistan batting is that once the Pakistan lose some wickets in the start of the game, they go in the defensive phase. This is the wrong strategy, I think. Pakistan have to make a good plan there. Who is the finisher? Who has to play anchor role? And who has to go on with the innings? This is very necessary. In all the teams we can see there, in Indian team, they have already fixed that who will play as anchor role, who will go along all the inning, and who will be the finisher. In Pakistan batting problem, Pakistan is relying more and more on the all-rounders. Pakistan, after Babar Azam, there is no established batsman. They are putting Rizwan at number 4, and then all 5, 6, 7, 8. They are only the all-rounders. Pakistan have to get someone established batsman. It can be Abdullah Shafi, it can be Saud Shakil. They both are available, and they have both have the ability to play at number 4. But Pakistan needs someone at number 4, a good batsman who can provide the partnership to Babar Azam also, and also the other batsmen who come below after the number 4. And a run rate will be very, very important for Pakistan. Pakistan have to make some calculation before the match that in which over how much their score should be, and because cricket is today not like the past cricket. Cricket is today a science. Cricket, you have to make a plan before the game. You cannot go at the ground. You cannot decide what you have to do. You should be ready before the also in the game also what you have to do. It's very important in the if Pakistan want to win, want to go into the finals. Pakistan needs something before the match, in the match, during the match. Everything should be ready.
Absolutely. Just a quick question, Mahmood, over here. If Pakistan try to play with an accelerated run rate, they often tend to lose very quick wickets. So, somebody has got to take that responsibility of keeping one end and at the same time make sure that they don't lose on that run rate as well.
Well, our team Pakistan have to adopt the strategy of these teams like Australia, New Zealand, India, that even the wickets started losing, but their run rate never goes down. You have seen in Asia Cup that if a set batsman got out and he's scoring 70, 80 and with a best strike rate and run rate is going perfect, but if he suddenly got out, our run rate got stuck off. So in this way, Pakistani team has to work hard to accelerate their run rate, even if the wickets are going down. But the set batsman is playing, and he has to play his natural shots.
Absolutely.
He don't have to stop, or he have to slow down his strike rate, and in the same way, the run rate got also slowed down.
Absolutely. I think that's very important, that we're getting used to the fact that we want the run rate in a chase to go till 10 and 12, and then we try to bring it down and then blame everything on Iftikhar. So I think we've got to stop doing that. On that note, we'll take a short break. When we come back, I'll highlight something very interesting for our viewers and our guests as well. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Extra. What I wanted to highlight before the break is today India is opening with Washington Sundar. So right now, if you look at the combinations that they've tried in their opening department, they've gone with Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Ishan Kishan, and right now we're seeing Rohit Sharma and Washington Sundar. So look at the amount of openers that they've tried, and in one match they had Gaikwad as well, who scored a brilliant run fest as well for them, who opened the innings. So about 5 different openers in the past span of 4 to 5 games tells you the investment in modern day players and what they're creating on a bench strength. That too, Rizwan, coupled with the fact that this score of 350 plus in modern day cricket, and the run rate that always comes into account.
I think first of all, Australia should be disappointed with that total. The way they started, they got 242 runs in 31 overs. So just 110 odd runs in 19 overs is a disappointment. But that also shows that India didn't lose their head. They were going for runs, but in the end, they did manage to control and make it to a respectable 353.
But
because
I've got a counter argument. Because India is the side that is comfortable chasing 350. Had it been us, we would have had our head over our heels, and we wouldn't know what to do.
I'm just highlighting the importance of having a good run rate from the very beginning, that even if you have setbacks, you end up with a decent total. Similarly, India, from an Indian perspective, the last 19 overs were very positive, and they're going to go very, very positively into the innings and decide that yes, they're going to chase, because anything above 375 or 380 just goes a bit out of hand, and 350 has been chased before in quite a few times now. This is what we need to understand from Australia versus India, how Pakistan needs to plan their innings. They need to go from the beginning. They need to have Abdullah Shafiq in there at 3. Babar has to kill his ego and bat at 4 for the team, not for himself. Similarly, Rizwan is not a number 4. He has a list A average of 35, which is not good enough for a number 4. He's fine at numbers 5 or 6, or he should be opening the batting if your openers are not doing well. But the team management, Mickey Arthur and the decision makers need to sit down and see what is best for Pakistan, not what is best for Babar, because this is not team Babar, this is not team Rizwan, this is team Pakistan we're talking about. And end of the day, if you come out at number 5 after the round robin, it's all going to be worthless, even if Babar is number 1 as a batsman and Shaheen is number 1 as a bowler, and Iftikhar is number 1 as an all-rounder for that matter, or the best fielder in the tournament. I don't care about best batsman, best fielder, best bowler, best all-rounder. I want Pakistan to win the tournament, and for that, although we're not really prepared, but we should not, still it's not the end of the day. We have to make it to the semis, and for that you need to do what is best for the team.
Washington Sundar opening today, what would you
Beautiful.
like?
I mean, that's, or on the other hand, I think that's lack of options. India hasn't had a settled pair, and that's why they're changing and chopping, and we know what we want to go through, and we know if Iftikhar is the right man for number 5, we know Babar is excellent for number 3, because we haven't tried anything. We haven't given the opportunity to any youngsters. And we are bent upon, making sure that this is going to be the last World Cup for everyone.
Well, you're a YouTube personality as well, Rizwan. I'm yet to become one. And guess what the last 5 questions that have been asked to me by certain vloggers or YouTubers have been? And it's just been to pick my favorite player out of Babar Azam and Virat Kohli. I mean, is that even a question? Why do we fail to understand that there is no comparison right now between these two players?
We are not Virat Kohli fans. We are not Babar fans. We are Pakistan fans. There are Indian fans. There are, you can have individual players you like, but it does not matter for Tendulkar to be, nobody remembers, how good, we know how good Tendulkar was. But when India won the World Cup, it was India. India's won it twice, we've just won it once. The important thing is India had the greatest batsman in Sachin Tendulkar. Pakistan has had great batsmen, but Australia has won the World Cup 5 times. This is what is remembered in the end. West Indies has won it twice. The first 2 editions were won by West Indies. So these are irrelevant things, who's number 1, or Babar played so many less innings than Tendulkar and still had a better average, while Shubman Gill has now got a better average, and the Pakistanis are calling him flat track bully and the Indians are calling Babar a flat track bully. It doesn't matter, it's what the team needs, and we need, it's more important that the team wins, even if you get 20 runs but do well in the field for the team, but you don't lose your head if you get out for
Absolutely. Mahmood, this is a very important argument. For far too long, we have been a country that has been obsessed with individuals. At the end of the day, that pressure gets to them, and when they get out, the whole team collapses. It has to be a team effort over here.
Team effort is important. You have analyzed the team India, as Rizwan have said, that you don't need to feel pride while you're top at the ranking, even at the batting side as a batter or even as a bowler. But in the end result is important. You have seen that in India, they are trying their best. Their openers versus Australia. Why they are trying that even if one got stuck out, another got stuck out, we still have a player who can play big shots, who can maintain his run rates, and the end we can score a big target and can win the match. So in this way, we can't rely on in a single player, even on a batter, even on a bowler. We have to work as a team. So in this way, I must say that the team's whole effort is important to win the matches, because you can't rely on a single person to win the whole match.
Absolutely. Sir Haider, this debate between individuals and team effort will continue. But like I said, the fact is that India has tried a fourth, fifth combination for openers in the span of just, I think, 3 weeks. Tells us what really bench strength means. In Pakistan, we've all bragged about the fact that we've got a great bench strength now. But the lack of game time these players have right before a World Cup is criminal.
Exactly. I don't know why our management is afraid to make the experiment in the batting. I don't know. We are always like opening is not, Fakhar Zaman is a regular fail in Asia Cup and other matches. But we are always stuck Fakhar Zaman. And the captain, I'm disappointed from this statement of the Pakistan captain that he's saying that I have in our batsmen, they can do everything. If not doing it, what he can do in the future, because we have to, the Pakistani management should make some experiment and get some other players also instead of Fakhar Zaman, but they did not do it. Now they in the final phase. Now they have to go in the battlefield. The time for the making is already gone. Now you have, if now you will go to make an experiment, then it will not be fruitful for the team. Individual effort is all very important for the team effort, but team effort means that he doing 100%. He's not going only to get runs and make his next match chance sure. And nothing. No, he has to do something to win the match. It is necessary because now it's the final. What you have prepared yourself for the last 4 years. Now it is the time for your what you have done in the last 4 years. The other teams they have met, like you can see England or Australia or India, they have already understand. Pakistan is going with only the batsman who is regular fail for last 6 months, and still he is only the opener. It means that in all the Pakistan cricketers are not finding any good opener instead of Fakhar Zaman. So this is the problem. Team management is only the tactics. It is not. They have to get something according to the time. The time has changed. You have. I mean, you have said right now that India have tried 3 openers: Shaman Gill, Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, and now today Washington Sundar. It means they have the strength. They have a power to get some experiment right before the World Cup, and then they can see that anytime any batsman is not able to play or is not giving the 100% performance, they can put immediately another batsman. This is the main thing that what the Pakistan have not tried, and it will be problem for the Pakistan in the running.
Well, it can be, Sir Haider, but let's just put everything aside and let's, for once, I think, consider the team that has been selected. I think the bigger question that we were discussing yesterday as well, that it's a long World Cup, Sir Haider. You've got 9 matches to play initially, and if you qualify, add a semi-final, that's 10, and then a final 11. So in these 11 matches, it would, probably be foolish to consider that you won't be making any changes.
Exactly. That's you have a large number of the matches you have to play in India. No, anyhow, and two matches it can be. So, but what do you do? No, it is the time has come. You have to do anything with the squad you have selected. Only that the words what you are doing, I think the ball cannot match. The performance can win the strategy can win, but I'm sorry, I have to say that I am seeing strategy from the Pakistan management. Management is still it is known. It don't know exactly who the man coach of the team. and will magnitude did you at the Pakistan's the factor of the winning batting or bowling. It is
Right,
very
right. Sarada, thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you on the show. I think, you know, the quote is that if I had a penny for every time there was uncertainty at PCB, I would probably be a billionaire by now. So that's the way it goes. Rizwan is amused, but I'm sure that you agree with me as well.
Well, we've seen that since 1980s. I've been seeing that. Some things never seem to change. We've seen how India was not a major force in the 80s, but over the years they've developed and, you know, become a brand. Even if you tell us that they're the biggest population, they were still the biggest population cricket playing nation in the 50s and 60s. But they were never. But the way they've you know, rebranded themselves as a nation shows how powerful they've become from the 83 before 83 World Cup, even after in the 87 World Cup. They were not considered a superpower. In the cricketing sense, Pakistan was a much superior force after England and Australia and West Indies.
Absolutely.
West Indies used to fancy coming to Pakistan, and Pakistan used to be a threat for every visiting country, and Pakistan were pretty good going to Australia, going to England. We won the series in England in 1987 before India could even think something like that.
Right, that definitely.
But the problem is, over the years, politics, you know, meddling into different things, and political issues have been more of a reason that Pakistan cricket has declined. Otherwise, if just on sheer talent we're talking about, Pakistan should have won the World Cup at least 3 times. They should have won the World Cup in 99. They should have won the World Cup in 96. We had 2 very strong teams then. But because of the politics and all these petty issues, captaincy issues between player power, India's board needs to be given credit for that.
I think at the end of the day, Babar Azam would say, are you not entertained? That's what you would like to say, going back to the Colosseum times. But thank you very much, Rizwan. Thank you very much, Mahmood, for joining us. That wraps it up. But before we go, I've got something very special to share with you. A couple of days back, history was made in the Hunza Valley. We saw something very, very spectacular for the very first time. You know, a power couple, 2 of these wingsuit pilots were able to create history in that majestic valley of Hunza. We've got something to share with you, and while we share it, it would be goodbye from me and the entire team. So take care of yourself, and remember that positivity is something that you need in the World Cup, so we'll take that a long way. That being said, it's goodbye for now, but leaving you with this very special video.
The orange stuff is on that ledge on the one.
Oh, I remember just landing. I couldn't reach to where she was. We are down again, Atabad, at the greatest wingsuit experience of our life. Wow! Up there, you can see the little pointy thing up there. Wow!